Y'all, y'all. Hey, welcome to Cornbread and Roses. I'm your friendly neighborhood organizer, Austin. I'm here tonight with Red Mike.
Hello, comrades.
And yeah, we are definitely the most unprofessional podcast in the land and maybe in the whole known universe. Thank you for joining us. We got some things to go through. We're trying to still iron out some issues. Apparently, I'm functionally illiterate, like 60% of the country, because I can't tell the difference between Brave and Firefox. So that was one of the problems we were having. Um, so yeah, uh, we're going to do some fun stuff. Talk about this week in socialist history, conspiracy of the week, and Dougie Fresh is running for governor. You will have to get to the primary, and we'll talk about that and maybe a few other things that's going on in Alabama. Red Mike, how you doing, dog?
I'm doing good. I spent the day trying to make art.
Oh, I have that on my list of things to do, and it's been on my list since October of last year.
Right.
So,
It's been on my list for a while too. But I tried to make some color fields not quite inspired by Mark Rothko, but kind of. And
okay.
I just tried to use some bolder colors and I don't know, do things a little bit differently so it wouldn't be completely derivative. And I
Well,
think it turned out pretty well.
you got to get inspired somewhere, right? No, tell me about Rothko for a second. Who I've heard his name. I love me some art, but I would I would be a liar if I said I have anything beyond a layman's understanding of most art stuff.
Well, so he was an abstract painter. He's known for his color field paintings that this that depicted irregular and regular rectangular regions of color done in what's called the painterly style, where you can see the brush strokes and things like that.
Okay, the painter. That's so cute. The painterly style.
The painterly style, yeah.
Oh,
So a painting is said to be painterly when there are visible brush strokes in the final work.
what do they
So
call it when there's just not?
the opposite of painterly is linear plastic or formal linear design.
Okay, okay. And it's I guess, an aesthetic choice, right? And
Yeah, well, if you look at Rothko's work, you'll see I don't know how to explain his work without showing you pieces, but if you look up Mark Rothko, Rothko, you can see some examples of his color fields. Those are um, his most famous works.
let's see here. Let's see if we can do that real quick. I totally misspelled it. Rothko. Okay, I swear I've seen his stuff on books. A lot
You
of
may
books.
have. There is the very short introduction book series has covers that are very reminiscent of Rothko's work.
Those are the books I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so if you've seen the very short introductions, you've seen things that look very similar to Rothko, although they're not quite as expressionistic, you might say.
Hmm.
They're a little bit more subdued in terms of their emotional output. But I enjoy Rothko's work, and his one thing that is missing from these images is the scale of his work. Like his images were huge, and they were very much larger than that typical paintings. so they're very immersive.
Yeah, you can see a little bit from scale. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like uh, Mona Lisa is probably an eighth of this one right here.
right.
So,
So but I like the idea behind Roscoe's work, even if I don't like every piece that he ever did. And so I tried to do some color washes with like some neon colors, and I added a gloss to it, and I think it turned out well.
yeah,
Um, so that was my Sunday. That's how I spent Sunday, was trying to be an artist. I'm also trying to learn how to do like more figurative types of drawing and things like that. Um, but I haven't quite got the knack down for that. That takes a lot of practice, and it's easier to put color rectangles on a canvas. So that's
being an artist model, that seems like a harder gig than you think. Like, 'cause I've had to stand in place without moving for extended periods of time, and yeah, yeah, that's a little tough.
I bet it would be tough. Yeah. No, I would love to go to art school, but unfortunately, all the studio times are during the day, and I can't quit my job.
Oof.
So I can't go to art school. I should have gone when I was younger. Oh well, then I'll be a
Well,
starving artist instead of a middling to do software engineer.
but you are doing it. I bet. Maybe I was because I was thinking like the city doing like sponsoring, you know, 10 artists, $100 $200 a month for supplies and stuff like that. Like a little project the city could do, things like that. Like, I think in the Netherlands, they are actually now uh, helping artists with like 1,500 a month or something like that. It's something relatively new. Glanced over it. I don't know how long ago, but yeah, why not? It's a good, that's a good use of public funds, in my opinion.
I think so, and I think creating public works, like eventually, like the point of abstract expressionism, or at least what I'm trying to do, is to capture certain emotional sorts of feelings. But I think there are all sorts of uses that art has for public. Like I eventually want to get to where I'm creating public works of art. Um, not always that have didactic value, but that display like my value system. And I think that I'm very socially oriented, which probably doesn't surprise you very much.
But,
So
but like, yeah, like, expressing the times, expression of a person's place in those times, like, moving other people, like it's it's definitely, and it's what the fascists hijack from us as well.
absolutely, like no, socialists need to be a noisy. We need to be a noisy part of every cultural activity, whether it's art and sports and religion. And I hate to call back to the Seven Mountains Mandate in on the right, but I think that, they're not entirely wrong to think like, oh, we need to be part of all of these cultural things, and I think socialists do as well. I think there's room for socialist art, for socialist sportscasters, for socialist people in religion. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, I mean their strategy is well placed. Their lack of inclusiveness is gross. But
yeah, because
but
I
yeah,
feel like fascism doesn't start with the policies, although I mean it can, but it often doesn't. It starts with the values of intolerance and xenophobia and misogyny, and everything flows downward from there.
yeah,
And so I think there's something to be like, we need to be combating all those, like that dating program, that whatever, that dating talk show that just is just nothing but incel fuel. There needs to be a socialist alternative for that, a left wing alternative for that, telling, men that, maybe women would pay them attention if they put a little bit of work into themselves. Um, Instead of like just blindly hating all women for existing, I guess.
And when we say working themselves, we don't mean the fucking gym.
Right.
Uh,
I mean
you know,
that can be part of it. There are some people who do want that sort of thing.
yeah, but it's typically it's like the internal work is what's
absolutely
missing
right.
because
Like you could have just have this just poisonous inside where you're just hating women for daring to exist and daring to live their lives in freedom. And yeah, like I think that's got to be more repulsive than almost anything you can do to yourself physically.
yeah, yeah. We
But it's
got
hard for me to talk. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say we got Butterbean in the chat with us. Thank you for showing up, dog. Good to see
Absolutely.
you. I've seen him a few times today. Uh, our, hopefully we'll have him on the podcast soon. But yeah, go on, keep going.
Well, I sort of lost my train of thought a little bit, but let's see, what was I saying? I was talking about
Dating
misogyny.
internals of
Yeah.
yeah,
The
and
problem, like I would do this myself. The problem is that I'm ace and arrow, and I don't understand dating at all, like, or the desire to date because I don't feel it. But I
but, you,
see,
but you've dated in the past, right?
I have dated in the past. Yes,
And
it did.
that's like evolution for you to where you are now, or was it like experiment? You know what I'm saying? Like
I
you,
think I, I think I didn't quite know what I was, and I was
right,
doing the socially accepted thing
right,
because I felt like, oh, well, I'm a loser if I don't have somebody that I'm dating, and I'm outside of the cultural expectations. And
yeah,
plus, I genuinely just didn't realize that I wasn't as into it, and I just didn't give myself permission to not be into it until much later in life.
yeah, yeah. Finding yourself. I mean, that's the journey, ain't it? Like
Yeah.
you know,
It's a good thing to figure out because now I'm super comfortable, and I would say that I'm even happy for the first time in forever, thanks to the powers of modern medication, and just living my life the way that I want to.
know thyself. That's right. Oh shit. I am happy for you, and I'm happy to hear that. And I hope some folks hear a little bit about your journey. And let's see here, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if this works. Let's see. With that, let's get to the memes. Hey babe, wake up. New Homeland just dropped. I don't know if you've seen the location feature uh, for folks on Twitter. Have you seen what's going on with all that?
I have, and like there are several influencers that are from Russia.
Oh yeah, right. We got all over Russia, Nigeria, India, just like everybody, every country's MAGA boy. They're all
Yeah.
surprisingly like they're all white ladies as well. A
All
whole
right.
lot of them. A whole lot of them.
Thanks,
Uh,
Butterbean. By the way,
yes, sir. Let's see here. Let's girls after one minor argument. I'm never speaking to you again. Boys after calling each other fascist and jihadist. By the way, I'm trying to tell a story tonight with these memes. Let's see. Me doing everything I was told not to do. Mom loving me regardless. Yep.
I am so delighted by like so every the first thing you notice about Zoran Mamdani, like when you start paying attention to him, is that the man has riz. The man has genuine, honest to God riz, and he rizzed up Donald Trump, and it's hilarious.
Yes, he did. It's okay, buddy. You just it's easier that way. Just say it. Just say it.
Yep.
Trump, after being called Habibi once. Oh, there's some good ones this week. Met with Mamdani once and immediately starts dressing better than he has at any point in the past 2 decades. Strike 2 for the bisexual Trump theory. God, he little dapper, and I'm liking that like deep red bandana thing that's going on. I wonder what
Oh
she's.
wow. He stole his look.
Oh yes, Trump really went out dressed like Spirit Halloween version of Zoran Mamdani, as if someone told him, "Sir, this is what smart people wear," and he sprint waddled to the closet. In the timing, chef's kiss suspicious. Mamdani shows up looking sharp, grounded, articulate, and within 24 hours, Trump copies the outfit like a middle schooler trying to impress the cool kid he pretends not to know. Trump has no policies, no plans, no boundaries, and now apparently no original wardrobe either. I'm crying.
Yeah, Trump is one of those guys whose opinion is a function of the last person he talked to.
Absolutely. Which is so bizarre. So that's so like inverse to the like malignant narcissism, right? Like, I mean, he literally like just like no original thought. He just copies, like I mean, this is a perfect embodiment of like capitalism itself in a manner, like just like a shitty reproduction of things of society. Or I think I'm probably misstating things, but you get it. MAGA communism begins. Yeah.
Is that JD Vance dressed as Lenin?
Yes. Oh, we got Mussolini back there. I can't tell what this is. Is this supposed to be the entire world map? And he's got a little cup of milk in his cookies. Yeah. Yeah. We'll take the communism part, I guess. But
yeah, we can do without the MAGA part.
This is definitely like a oxymoron. A Muslim mayor will definitely impose Shakira law. Pray for New York. I don't have a Shakira. I can't do this. Like, I don't know.
So that's supposed to be Shakira?
That is Shakira. Yeah, dude.
I don't know. She's a good performer.
Yeah, she's talented for sure.
She's very talented. Yeah,
I think she's from Colombia, but
a
few years ago she was. This is before my dad passed away, and we were watching the Super Bowl, and she popped up, and he was impressed. I'll just put it like that. He was impressed by Miss Shakira. Gave my dad definitely enjoyed her Super Bowl performance. He looked at me, he's like, "Who is she?" Like, so keep doing your thing, Shakira.
Yep, Shakira law. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I would probably injure my spine trying to enact Shakira law. But
oh yeah, no, I couldn't ever dance in a million years dance the way that she could. Can.
Oh, we got.
I can't dance, can't sing. I was not given the gift of music.
Well, but you got the art going. That hey, it's music on paper or canvas. There we go. Kind of crazy that artificial intelligence needs the entire output of a nuclear reactor, but actual intelligence can run on Twix bars and cocaine, for example.
Wow.
So let's see here. I don't know if this is going to work. I had it spun up before the inevitable crash. Let's see.
I think it's my job as a good citizen to help ICE because I care about this country and I care about the safety of those who.
This is tips for ICE to navigate Appalachia safely.
We're trying to protect it. I recently heard that ICE is heading into Appalachia, and because I deeply care about your safety, I just have some tips for you. People will hide in the trees, so you want to look directly into the trees. The way that the Appalachian Mountains were formed, if you happen to be out at night, you can echolocate by whistling. It won't work in the day. People will try to sometimes signal to you by mimicking a baby crying. Follow that. They might also try to light their way to their hiding spot. So if you see any like glowing lights in the distance that seem to be going up a holler, follow those. People are just trying to help you. If you come to a fork in the road, there sometimes will be a white dog. A lot of drug dogs were trained in Appalachia, so you should follow that dog because it's actually trying to lead you to people smuggling drugs. Obviously, if you hear your name called, that's just an immigrant trying to surrender, so you should respond immediately. For more about how to navigate Appalachia safely, I'm the author of Verity Vox and the Curse of Foxfire, the first of a trilogy. Throughout the book, there's a lot of tips about how to survive in Appalachia, just like the ones in this video. Good luck.
So yeah,
That's hilarious.
yes.
How to get yourself eaten by a cryptid 101.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, I don't know all of them, but I did know. Is the white dog? Is that supposed to be the devil?
I don't know about the white dog.
But yeah, like all those on point. Love it. Thank you. And that book sounds fun. All right. With all the stuff that's been going on with the networks, we got a little description of how the internet actually works. Something happening in the web. All the modern infrastructure. We got Cloudflare down here and AWS down there, and unpaid open source developers. AI really trying to balance things out, whatever Microsoft is doing. And then you got DNS, and I can't exactly. What is that? Oh, is that just a shark about to eat the undersea cable?
I think that's what that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought I got a kick out of this one. I thought some of
that is funny. That is true, and it's amazing how much of the internet runs on Kevin's useful utility bot that was written in the 80s and is being maintained by Kevin. And
yes. Yeah, and once Kevin dies,
we're not sure what we're gonna do.
No, we're not. Maybe Kevin has progeny that he's been training, and will bequeath the role at his deathbed. But yeah, it's definitely a less stable system than you think, for sure. And also thank you to the monopolies out there that are single points of failure for everything. Got who you gonna call? Goat's butter.
That's funny.
We got the Democrats up there. Stop dividing the left. And well, you got the left. You're not the left. Yeah. Let's see here. Are we not all cam girls in a mass surveillance state? Certainly feels like we are. You recognize this. Parents,
oh, yeah.
we wish you would become a doctor or a lawyer. Me. Best I can do is internet propagandist.
Yep.
Thank you for that one.
I'm aspiring propagandist myself.
Yeah. Me, metronoming back and forth, build a new world in the shell of the old. There will be no justice, but we can have revenge. Yes.
That's the struggle. I go back and forth between those two things. It's like, yeah, we should do stuff. And then I'm like, no, we should tear it all down and just destroy everything. And whatever comes along after that, we'll destroy that too. That's the thought.
The rich only sleep at night because we let them, folks. That's right, y'all. Dear Black Friday, we all have big TVs now. Put them groceries on sale.
I know, right?
And last but not least, every graph about the U.S. Good thing, brr, bad thing, brr, and Reagan,
Yep.
pretty much the epicenter.
Reagan or Nixon won.
Yeah, what it took. So what, from the 30s till the 80s, it took 50 years for them to get this program installed. And what is this? Almost 50 years later, and it's about to uninstall itself. So yeah, rolling, folks. That's the beginning. Yeah. Oh no, hang on. And we are rolling. This is now part of the show forever. Eat the rich, folks. All right. What else we got? We got this week in socialist history. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Pull this one off too. There we go. Okay, I'll say this. I would have to spend hours to really get do proper on this stuff. But on the 17th of November, and we haven't done this in a while, Voltaire de Cleyre, American anarchist feminist, writer, and orator, born 1866. A very interesting figure, a contemporary of like Emma Goldman and all those folks. Obviously, converted fully to anarchism in the wake of the Haymarket Affair, which radicalized her against the state and capitalism. A lot of things. She grew up poor, and was a headstrong and emotional personality, as they say. Believer in free thought, converted to anarchism. I'm getting down here. This is the part she had a little feud with Goldman. Described like she was described her oratory style as a violin and Goldman's as a bass drum. She was an aesthetic. Is that right? Is that the term? Austere. She had a very austere lifestyle and like chastised folks for like having birthdays and shit. I think that's a little too far. Have a little fun. Yeah. Thank you. Have a little fun, lady.
I know, right? She also wasn't the best on indigenous issues.
Oh, so you are familiar with her.
And by wasn't the best, I mean she said some straight up settler stuff. So she wasn't very good when it came to indigenous rights, but she had some interesting things to say about freedom. So kind of a mixed bag, really.
Ain't we all?
Yeah.
But yeah,
but I think her writings on indigenous people, I think, are pretty damning. I can't remember the exact words, but they're pretty bad. And other than that, like, yeah, some modern day right wing libertarians have tried to claim de Cleyre, and I think they don't know what they're talking about. So libertarians can't have her, even though, yeah. Like it's just like Max Stirner. Like there's a bunch of libertarians running around loose who think they're Max Stirner people, and I'm like, Stirner would have hated you. Like I don't know how I feel about Stirner, but Stirner was not a modern American libertarian by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it'd be fun for us to do some deep dives on some of these.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not a fan of Nietzsche, but like I see all these people, like these right wingers and these fascists claiming Nietzsche, and it's like Nietzsche hated you. Nietzsche famously ended his friendship with Wagner over anti-Semitism, because Wagner was a raging anti-Semite, and Nietzsche was like, "That's stupid."
This is Wagner, the musician, right?
Yes, the composer, and so just once again, just right wingers misunderstanding things. The problem, what happened was Nietzsche's sister was a fascist sympathizer, and she inherited his estate when he died, and she got to edit his papers before they were released, and so she put a lot of her own ideas about race and whatever in there. But for Nietzsche, like his philosophy is all about individualism, right? Like your race is just another herd for you as an individual to bravely overcome. So this idea that you're going to be devoted to your folk, or to your nation or to your race is absurd from a Nietzschean point of view. Not that like I said, not that I'm sympathetic to Nietzsche's arguments. I just think it's important to be fair to the guy. I think his philosophy is largely sociopathic.
Yeah, I've seen some of the things he said. I'm like, this guy sounds like a fucking asshole.
And what's funny, for all his alpha male whatever stuff, right? Like he notoriously had no luck with the ladies, um, and probably died of syphilis after losing his virginity in a brothel,
Oh,
like well
that's
into his 50s.
a bum ride right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the interesting part I wanted to highlight real quick, that she was shot, an assassination attempt by Herman Helcher, a former student, and developed an obsession and probably was had paranoid delusions. But like she like and this is part of her beliefs, was like against retributive justice and the failure of the justice system and stuff. Like she didn't press charges, she raised funds for him, expressed sympathy for his mental issues and his extreme poverty. And she was one of the people that like believe that the material conditions like increases crime and stuff like that. And that, so I found that interesting because I don't know how I would feel if I got shot, 3-4 times. You know what I'm saying? So good on her for having so much forgiveness in herself. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think it'd be hard to raise money for the person who shot me.
Yeah, dog.
I was impressed by the Mormons recently when they raised money for the person that shot up one of their wards and made a big deal out of publicly forgiving him. Like, I was very impressed by that and thought, that was good on the Mormons for doing that.
Oh, is that what happened with that shooting up there?
Yeah, so the Mormons, like, they forgave him, and they actually raised like $200,000 for the family of the man who shot the ward,
Wow.
because he didn't survive the attack. So they, of course, they raised money for the families of the people who were affected by the shooting. But while they were at it, they raised money for the family of the shooter.
Yeah. Okay. Then,
So,
hey, I give organized religion a lot of junk, but you look at
yeah, absolutely.
you look at folks in whatever religion, like they're people, and they are they doing good? Like, are they saying good things? Right? Like that's fundamentally what you're looking for. Doesn't matter like all the trappings and stuff like that. Just like try to find the good people, try to find the helpers, as Mr. Rogers said. But have you seen the trend where this lady, she started calling all those churches?
I have seen that.
Well, it spread a little bit. There was a girl, I think, in the UK that did it, and she said all the mosques, like every single one of them helped, but like all all the churches and stuff, like I, most of them didn't, if not damn near all of them.
That was the exact same. So the woman's name was Nicolay Monroe, and she's on TikTok, and she was the one who started this. And like that was her exact experience. Like she called nearly 50 churches, and I think like 10 of them helped her. But the mosque was like right away, oh yeah, we can help you.
You know, the mosque helped. There's like a small church that helped, a black church that helped. So yeah, you know, it was so yeah, uh, like all the phobias that and narratives that like rich folks try to insert into media and society to divide us. Like I said, there's good people everywhere. Good people everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, no, I'll never think of Muslims as my enemy.
No.
Just can't do it. I know too many Muslims.
I served with Muslim folks, you know. I went to school with Muslim folks, like,
Yep.
And yeah, I ain't never done nothing to me. Like,
It's like everybody else living their lives.
Exactly. Just trying to figure it out. Just trying to figure it out.
So yeah, Voltaire Declare. It's worth reading about it's worth reading her writings on liberty and on poverty. Stay away from her when it comes to indigenous issues.
Yeah. Duly noted. Duly noted. On the 18th, let's see, the Soviet Union legalizes abortion in 1920. So yeah, they legalized it. I don't know if they were the first government in Europe to legalize abortion. We didn't have it till what, the 70s, right? And now we don't. But it only lasted about 16 years.
Yes, Stalin ruined it.
Big surprise. You know, I've seen things that say, intelligence estimates by the United States said that Stalin's not a dictator and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know about that. He certainly did a lot of dictatorish shit, you know.
One of the other things is that under Lenin, like, and I don't mean to defend Lenin too much, but under Lenin, the Soviet Union was one of the first states to decriminalize well, I hate to use the word homosexuality, but LGBT people and LGBT acts. And of course, Stalin reversed course on that too.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of that is related to is like, I think he was from Georgia and like raised real Orthodox.
Yeah, he was studying. Stalin studied to become a priest before he became interested in politics.
So, but yeah, so that was the 18th. Shout out, bodily autonomy. On the 19th was the first public meeting of 9 to 5 devoted to organizing clerical working women in 1973. And they're actually still around. It's founded in 73. Clerical workers respond to the inequities, unfairness, and outright harassment they were experiencing in their workplace. Women organized and joined together to demand better working conditions from their bosses, their companies, and policymakers. This took courage, tenacity, and willpower to fight against sexism and patriarchy, still happening. Yet, as powerful as the early days were, they fell short in addressing all the problems with the status quo. And, they're still fighting today. Women of color have always been the backbone of workplaces across the country, yet the status quo doesn't work for most of us and hasn't ever. They are building a mass movement. Does that sound familiar, folks? Advancing community-led advocacy towards widespread, long-lasting change. And they've got a national agenda and chapters in 3 states. We got Georgia, Wisconsin, and Colorado. Maybe we talk to the folks over in Georgia and see if they can get one built up over here. So yeah, the national network, and then 3 states. Just shows you how hard and how long you need to like have a mindset. That didn't work. How long? How you need to have a long-term mindset in this stuff, right? Let's see here. We've got the occupation of Alcatraz on the 20th. The American Indian Movement, AIM, occupation of Alcatraz Island begins in 1969. I swear we mentioned some of the leaders of this movement throughout the year. The calendar's on the, what are we going to do when I ain't got a calendar no more, bro?
I don't know. We'll have to get a calendar. Jacobin released a calendar.
Okay.
I'll have to order one.
But started in 1963. I read an article that it was to be closed and the property given to the city. Is this a movie? Was this ever a movie? Does not look like it. No,
I don't think so. They'd never make a movie about the American Indian movement.
Dude, there's so many good fucking movies that like about like workers and stuff that could be made. Like, just for instance, like going to Haymarket and then all the people around that, just like her, DeClaire and Goldman and Parsons and like later Joe Hill, like all these like figures that were not taught about, really, all these fighters for workers and stuff throughout our history.
The rich people who fund movies don't want you to learn about those characters.
Right. Maybe I need to do some low budget TikToks and like just wear a sign that says Emma Goldman, and then put on another sign that says Lucy Parsons.
Right. Google Lucy Parsons.
Yeah. But yeah, they tried several attempts. They tried to claim it, the right of discovery. And they attempted to occupy it several times over several months. And then finally they got a grip on it. There's the flag that they use over Alcatraz. I like that flag. It's pretty cool looking. And had up to 400 people. They had, food being delivered. They had a little school. And yeah, but after like 18, 19 months, it kind of dissipated. But they even had a radio station. So this would be a great movie. Yeah.
Well, the FBI really cracked down on the American Indian movement, and COINTELPRO and other related programs really did a number on it. So like those movements were suppressed along with the Black Panthers, and the Brown Berets, who were mixed up with who were provided a lot of not critical support, but provided support to the occupation of Alcatraz.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, interesting little part of history, and go look more into it. We've got also on the 21st, groundbreaking of the East River Houses, a union-sponsored workers' cooperative in New York City in 1953. This has a few of them in here. This is the best article I could kind of find. If you look, one of the East River housing towers is in the background. I think it's that, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that. But yeah, these were all like developed by unions. And yeah, this one was one of the first developments of the newly formed United Housing Foundation. It was financially sponsored by the International Ladies Garment Workers Union through a loan insured by the Federal Housing and Home Finance Agency. Construction began in 53 and completed in 56. It had 1,672 apartments in 4, 20, and 21-story towers on an open lot facing the East River, designed by George Springsteen. Oh, I wonder if that's any relation. And associate Herman Jesser. Co-op City. So, you know, up north, they got all these co-ops, right? I wonder what the deepest South one is. But yeah, people banded together as union driven, outstanding, you know, really outstanding work they did and can be done again. So yeah. Then on the 22nd, speaking of garments, the mostly immigrant and female garment worker strike in New York City, uprising of 20,000 women in 1909. It was a labor strike primarily involving Jewish women working in New York shirtwaist factories. It is the largest strike by female American workers up to that date, led by Clara Limlick and the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. Didn't we just mention them? I swear we did. Maybe I'm misremembering 45.
I think so.
Maybe. But yeah, you know, textile workers of all categories subjected to abysmal working conditions, crowded, unsanitary, long days, miserable wages, and trapped by different little subcontracting systems and worked in the sweatshops and stuff like that. Strike lasted from September. On the 22nd of November, a meeting was held at Cooper Union where Local 25 voted for a general strike. Meeting organized by the International Ladies Garment Workers Union and was chaired by Socialist Benjamin Feigenbaum. Clara Limlick, one of the leaders, 23-year-old, originally from Ukraine. She's already on strike. She got beat the hell up after hired thugs assaulted her on the picket line. So yeah, the legacy, the successful strike marked an important benchmark for the American labor movement, especially for garment industry unions. The strike helped transform industrial worker culture and activism in the United States. However, the triumph of the strike was later overshadowed by the tragedy of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in March 1911. Strike inspired Clara Zetkin to propose International Women's Day on March 8th and was first celebrated by the Socialist Party of America in 1909. Oh, got a day off from it. Well, they don't give us a day off for fucking International Women's Day, do they?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now, I figured you knew about this one. The
Battle of Seattle
protest disrupt the WTO conference in the Battle of Seattle in 1999. Man, so this seems right up your alley. Were you watching? Were you out in San Francisco, out west, around that time, or?
Oh no, I was in San Francisco from 2012 to 2014.
2012. Okay.
So, but I was in high school in 1999, and believe me, I consumed as much media about the Battle of Seattle as I could. So I was a high school student in the middle of nowhere, Alabama, here in Morgan County, and yeah, it
So,
had a big the WTO protests in 1999 played a significant role in my political development, and I think we still have a lot to learn from what happened there.
yeah, we got there was notable participants, national and international non-governmental organizations such as Global Exchange, labor unions, including the AFL-CIO, student groups, religion-based groups like Jubilee 2000, anarchists, some of whom form a black bloc. Protests also drew support from some political conservatives, such as Pat Buchanan.
Pat Buchanan, yeah,
Wild.
but they organized using a spoke council model. So that is how the different organizations coordinate with each other, using a spokes council, just like the one we're using with the North Alabama Spokes Council.
Yes, sir. History can teach us a lot, especially not to repeat it. So yeah, another movie that needs to be made. I swear, every article we look at could be a movie or a TV show or hell, at least a documentary.
Rich people make the movies. They produce the movies. That's where the money comes from, and they don't want you to know about these sorts of things. So they don't want you getting any ideas.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if I had the ability first to edit and these people are still around. You know what I mean? Like, let's get an interview. Ask
Yep.
lessons learned and whatnot. And but and it inspired other stuff, and it's still inspiring stuff. They got it together out in Seattle a whole lot.
Yep.
I'd love
They
to
also
visit that
just elected
place.
they also just elected a Democratic Socialist mayor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Change is afoot. Change is afoot for sure. I think we're really, if it's been pointed out by many people that once capitalism can't look outside and starts looking inside, and in our case, techno fascism, being implemented or attempting to be implemented, because folks are still fighting. There's cities that are like getting rid of those flock cameras and whatnot. So nobody's laying down, folks. So take heart. So yeah, that's this week in socialist history. And so we got our conspiracy of the week, if I can find it. Here we go.
I'm most excited for what you come up with this. I love a good conspiracy theory.
Here we go. Let's see. Where are you at? There you are. All right. This is some wild shit. And I don't even think she does drugs. So we've got Candace Owen here. Urgent. 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie intervention group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on this assassination squad, and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted, since this source claims our leaders are aware, but I have specific information which is definitively verifiable should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you. Truly, let all be revealed.
16 million people have seen this. Like, that
Yeah.
is far more reach than I will ever have.
At last count, because this is from a day ago. Yeah, she's on one. I hope this isn't true, but
Why the French government? Why would they be after Candace Owens?
so that's what I asked, and thank God for all, Reddit gets a bum rap, the mods get a bum rap. And no, they don't get a bum rap. Reddit does kind of suck. The mods do kind of suck. Especially
Hey,
with
I'm a
their,
Reddit mod.
oh well. Present company, you are the exception to the rule. But
I'm a mod of Decatur, Alabama.
Nice. Well, grow your power, sir, to the other Alabama subs. But let's see here. Where is it? Okay. All because she insisted that Brigitte Marie-Claude Macron, who birthed 3 children vaginally and was born a female, is in fact a man. That's how insane Candace Owens is. You have to remember that just because Candace has a platform, that doesn't mean she's very bright. Her job is to keep typing the most outlandish bullshit she can for clicks. So that's the theory, is that they're targeting her because she claimed that Macron's wife is trans.
I'm sure that Emmanuel Macron has heard worse things said about him and his wife.
But that's the gist of it. Yeah, and I guess she's on that. She's not anti-Zionist. She's anti-Semitic.
Yeah, she's an anti-Semite.
Yeah, a significant distinction for those out there. But yeah, that's what's this one? Candace Owens is cosplaying hard. She's always been someone who will say anything, and I mean anything, to make herself relevant. She's been playing on the Charlie Kirk murder like a one-armed violinist in a symphony orchestra, and here she has totally overplayed her hand. She wishes she were relevant enough to merit a multinational death squad from an assassination ordered by the sitting president of France. An event, by the way, the ordered assassination of an American journalist by the sitting president of France would constitute a major international scandal and trigger a NATO crisis. So yeah, that's where we're at with Miss Owens. And she's her viewership, I guess, is increasing.
Wow.
This is like one of those, I think she was buddies with hi, I talk like this because and I wanted to be a writer in LA.
Ben Shapiro.
Thank you. Can't remember his name.
The Ben
Dumbass
Shapiro
voice.
voice. Yeah, the Ben. I listen to a lot of right-wing talk radio, and I can't bring myself to listen to Ben Shapiro because why does his voice sound like that? I just can't do it.
He sounds like a puckered butthole, to put it nicely. So yeah. Whoops. Whoops. Uh-oh. Did I leak stuff? Let me try that again. Let me stop sharing. Well, here we are. That's the conspiracy of the week. The
French Foreign Legion
yeah
is after the French Foreign Legion is after Candace Owens.
No, they're the ones who got Charlie Kirk. This is an Israeli death squad is coming after a French commanded Israeli death squad is coming after her. So yeah. Okay, sis. All right. And with that, we're on to the news. We had our guest, the lovely Marissa. I can't give her enough compliments. She was
awesome.
She was at the meeting Thursday down in Montgomery, and her prescience, her from the Spice, she predicted the future. They did exactly what she said they would. So yeah, go on and take it.
So yeah, the Alabama Public Library Service on Thursday voted to restrict books for minors that address transgender procedures, gender ideology, or the concept of more than two biological genders. So they don't define what gender ideology is. So that could be any discussion of gender at all.
This argument reminds me of the argument about eugenics back 100 years ago for some reason.
So anything that and notably the law bans positive depictions of transgender people, but does not ban negative depictions of transgender people. So things that argue against transgender people and their rights are allowed all day long. But anything that says, hey, trans people should be allowed to have the medical care that the medical community has decided they require, or any words to that effect, you can't have books with that kind of thinking in Alabama.
Yeah, and this fellow right here, that's that John Wall fellow. What's this? Ron Snyder. Yeah. Oh, they're wearing matching ties. Look at that. Well, that's adorable. So yeah, John Wall, of course.
He's the chair of the He's not only the chair of the Alabama Public Library Service Board, he's also the chair of the Alabama Republican Party.
Mm-hmm. But there was a joint statement by groups including Read Freely Alabama, PEN America, Every Library, and the Alabama Trans Rights Action Coalition. Our friends, love them. They're based, as the kids say. Criticized the changes, saying they were pushed by right-wing and anti-queer groups. Broad language will result in any books with trans representation, regardless of their age, relevance, moved to adult sections of the public library in Alabama. The language in the code change does not define just like you said, does not define gender ideology, a vague term, and a dog whistle. And there's going to be fallout from this. The changes were more expansive than the original proposal made in March by Amy Minton, and another APLS board member. that would have only prohibitive, positive depictions of gender ideology and transgender procedures in library materials for minors. So, yeah. And it marks the second time in 3 years that the APLS voted to update its code in 3 years. What? That's a sentence. About as good a sentence I can write, I guess. Board members enacted the first set of changes that dealt with materials in the children's section of libraries in the summer of 2024. Board required libraries to adopt policies to prevent minors from having access to materials that are considered obscene, sexually explicit, or otherwise considered inappropriate. See how they step along, folks? They goose step along their agenda. I did see a judge permanently struck down the destruction of the federal system at the federal level. I can't remember the name of it, but the library stuff at the federal level. There's an institution, and Trump tried to destroy it, and it is not being destroyed. So, like I said, folks are fighting. We mentioned Fair Hope and last week about how their funds have been being withheld. But yeah, and there, like I said, there's going to be fallout. There's folks are fighting this, so we shall see. You look at other states, the people who have fought against it in other states, and you can probably guess some of the strategy and tactics that will be used, mostly lawsuits, right? So maybe the lawsuits come from an institution like the ACLU. Maybe it comes from writers themselves, because like from a capitalist perspective, right? If you make these books, you're a company that makes these books, right? Wouldn't you like want to stop this, right? So maybe a publisher, so we shall see. Yeah. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to happen, but it's still heartbreaking that it has happened. And I think in the meantime, while we're fighting it, we're just going to have to organize our own libraries, our own underground libraries that have materials that.
That's right. As Marissa said last week, resist and build. Yeah, I think was that the term? She might have said it even more eloquently like that than that.
I think that's what she said. Resist and build.
Yeah. So and yeah, just like you said, just like that library you used to have, I think they are popping up, and there's already some that are established in this area. I can't speak for around the state, but I'm sure that there's other little free libraries. Maybe that'd be a good project for us to do. Get some wood and hammer it together and get it posted up somewhere. But
that's not a bad idea. I often think about restarting my library. You know what inspired it was the observation that the local Books a Million and Barnes and Noble has more books about Marx and Marxism than the Alabama Public Library system does. Like when you go to the political section in the Huntsville Public Library, it's full of Mark Levin and Ann Coulter books, and but you can't check out the manifesto, for example. And I thought it would be interesting to have like a socialist / anarchist library that people could borrow books from. And everything was going great until the books were destroyed by the rain.
Wow.
So I might invest in that again and start hauling books around to events, because now that I have this cruise around in my car, which has this gigantic trunk, I think it would accommodate quite a few books and zines.
Bet. Like, that, and that's something like you can like park next to a cafe and have a coffee and just drink the coffee next to with your trunk open. And
But hey, kids, I got these books.
hey, yeah, you want some books over here?
The
Hey,
first one's for free.
yeah, I can get you hooked up, dog. Come on. Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm a drug dealer or something. I don't know. I don't know how drug dealers talk.
Neither do I. Well, they talk like us, to be honest. Yeah. They pretty much sound like us.
Fair enough.
But we also have, let's see here, Dougie Fresh back in the House, or the governorship in this case. Democrat Doug Jones, chances of making a comeback in deep red Alabama.
So he officially announced today. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, folks, it ain't red enough around here, but go on.
It's the wrong shade of red. We can make Alabama a different and better shade of red.
So
but yeah. So Doug Jones announced today, he doesn't even have a website up yet, but he announced that he's running for governor. And I don't know, some thoughts. Like, first of all, it's worth talking about what his chances actually are. And I think this article does a pretty good job of saying it. Like, Tuberville is 19 points ahead of Doug Jones as of right now. Tuberville leads 57 to 36 among high propensity voters, those who participated in the last 4 elections, and captures swing voters by a 2-to-1 margin. So swing voters in this state are 2-to-1 for Tuberville. Undecided voters also lean heavily Republican, breaking 43 to 26 for generic GOP candidate, and identify as 56% conservative compared to just 6% liberal.
Yeah, I will say the pollster Signal is questionable, and also the sample size is pretty not impressive as well. You typically want at least double this for a poll, but it's probably also not far off, right?
So, and the last time they ran against each other, Tuberville beat Jones by 60 to 40%, so by 20 points, and Tuberville is sitting on top of $7.7 million in his campaign fund.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what Doug Jones is doing here. Like, I mean, I guess it's good on some level that somebody is signing up to be a sacrificial lamb. But like in Alabama, the point of elections is to build support for a vision for a different Alabama, because you're probably not going to get elected in the short term. So you're focused on building long-term support for a better plan. And I don't think that Doug Jones is going to be the one to articulate that better plan. He's going to run on, like, he's good on some issues like abortion and things like that. But when it comes to economics and support for unions and things like that, he's much more centrist. And I think it's
which means he's probably not going to say a word about the minimum wage,
Right. So he's not going to offer any kind of real alternative to Republican politics, which is what I think it would take to get people excited in the state.
Yeah. Like, he's got to get through the primary. I think his main opposition is Will Boyd, who does have let's see here, who does have his platform up already. And that, I don't know about you, but if I was running for office, right, like the first thing that like before I announced, I would have had all this together. You know what I mean? He's had months. He's been thinking about it, talking about it, and he, like the announcement is exciting, right? And you've just wasted some of that excitement.
Right. Like I would have the website up before I announced, and then I would announce and then say, I'm sure it would spoil it if the website went up because people could find it. But you at least want the website to come up within an hour of you announcing. That way people can see what you're doing and what you're advocating for. Because as it stands, I have no idea what Doug Jones is gonna fight for. Let's see if he still doesn't have a website up.
And just for some comparison stuff, let's pick a economic development from Mr. Boyd, Dr. Boyd. It's doctor, right? Yeah.
It is, Doctor. Yes.
So look, so this right here, work with members of Congress to increase the federal minimum wage to $20 by 2028 and ultimately a realistic living wage, as there should be no reason why Alabama working families should have to live in poverty. Cool, like support a federal increase, but yo, you're the governor and this is in Alabama. Like, this should say increase or technically create a minimum wage for Alabama. And, by 2028, no, like this should be like $28 or something and faster, right? So like, yeah, I think that's the wrong, like, you're the fucking governor, dude. You know what I mean? Do state stuff. The supporting federal stuff, like
Yeah, it's kind of an odd choice. And I guess his thought is, in the unlikely event that he became governor, he'd face a Republican supermajority in the House and Senate in Alabama, and they're not going to pass the minimum wage. So I guess he thinks, oh, we'll work with Congress to get something done. But I mean, if you're thinking like that, like, you got to be thinking that your candidacy is a long shot anyway. So you may as well advocate for what you want to be true.
okay, but like that's the thing. He's okay federally, so he's going to be contacting the state reps and the senators in our state, right? Who are, except for two, Republicans, right? So you're facing basically the same dynamic. Whereas if you at the state level, you go, I'm going to increase, I want a state minimum wage. And then you can point when the Republicans don't do it, when it's brought or doesn't even get a floor vote or whatever. You can be like, look, I want a minimum wage for y'all. I want it to be such and such, like $20, $28, whatever. And look, these folks ain't for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I think that in Alabama, because the Democrats are such a long shot, there is absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain by swinging for the fences and just saying, like, I'm going to support the maximal program. I want a $20 minimum wage or a $28 minimum wage. For the state of Alabama, I want the Alabama legislature to pass it. Like, create a bill and send it to the House and Senate in Alabama, like you're saying, and make them vote against it.
Yeah. And some of these were like the language support expansion of, it should say just expand. Yeah. Like support. Okay. Introduce legislation Okay. Support a healthcare program affordable to all. Just say, work towards universal state level, because there are states that have basically universal healthcare. They have like a 2% like lack of coverage rate. That's not everybody. Clearly, it's not universal. It's at the state level. But like, it shows you what can be done, right? And you look at all these other countries, that we're
Absolutely.
every
Man,
little,
managed to do so much more with less.
yeah.
So yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Like I think that you swing for the fences because clearly the diet conservative or the diet the centrist and even mildly liberal point of view is not gaining a lot of support here in Alabama, and you're not gaining anything by moderating. Like you're not being treated as more reasonable by Republicans. You're not being treated as more reasonable by the media. So you may as well swing for the fences and call for the maximal program.
And there's examples of that working in this country, even in red states. There are people that have been elected to state level offices that push for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, we face an uphill battle in Alabama, but I think there are probably some swing voters that can be peeled away if you give them something positive to vote for. And like, oh, we're gonna have this means-tested program that's 55 pages long and it's difficult to understand, difficult to summarize. I don't think that gets you anywhere near as far as saying we're going to cover everybody when it comes to medical insurance, or we're going to raise the minimum wage for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing about Doug Jones running is that he is on the right side of the Joe Reed argument. Like he is an opponent of Joe Reed, and hopefully he'll be able to strengthen that faction. I think that Doug Jones will get a lot of support from outside of the state that probably Dr. Boyd wouldn't be able to get. I don't know. That seems pretty thin. I wonder what his attitude is, or what his thinking is that he's justifying running.
Well, if he lost 40 to 60, right? Theoretically, like, not theoretically, like you shave off 10 points from Tuberville, and then he's got a puncher's chance. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And with the change in atmosphere and conditions for people, compared to the last time he ran, he might have a puncher's chance. I'll say our job, for any of these candidates that are running against Republicans, is to agitate and push them further. Educate the populace to agitate them as well, right? Get people, instead of saying, a federal minimum wage, get people saying a state minimum wage, right?
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. And guess what, folks? We're working on that. Had a couple meetings today with candidates and about policy, and it's getting hammered out, and it's going to be highly focused, and it's going to deal with our economic issues that we all are fighting through, and some other things, like, for instance, the lack of a lottery. By my estimates, it says like 750 million goes to Tennessee for lottery stuff out of Alabama alone. And if you look at Florida and Georgia right next to us, it's looking like there's about $2 billion right there, right? That could stay within the state and help fund things. The Medicare expansion, the Medicaid expansion, that comes from the federal government. There's only 10 states, Alabama being one of them, that doesn't take those funds, and they're just sitting there. There's transportation, public transportation funds that are sitting at the federal level that we don't use. There's legalizing THC. You know, what if you just legalize it? You can grow it at your house for personal. You can take whatever you harvest, bring it down to the ABC store. The ABC sell it to the ABC store. The ABC store tests it and throws it on a shelf with whatever grade on it. You know, you make a little money from the house. You know what I mean? And that revenue, boom, goes back into the state to help us with education, to help us with housing, to help us with food, to help us with investing in our people, education, et cetera, et cetera. So there are plenty of things that can be done better here. We just have to dream big and work together to get towards them.
And I think even like legalizing weed, like it's wildly popular even among voters in Alabama.
Yeah.
And our prison system is blowing a hole in our state budget. They're overcrowded and dangerous. If we decriminalized drugs and legalized weed, we could free a lot of people from prison and save that money, but also bring in so much more money and investment in Alabama the way that it's done in Colorado, and other places.
Yeah, speaking of the prison system, like ensuring that the minimum wage applies to folks in prison, you know?
Absolutely.
That's a fundamental thing as well. There's several things you can argue. It's just the right thing to do. Like they're working. What that you know the if anything, like them out there, first we're paying for folks to be in prison, which messes up our budget. And second, like now you're competing against basically slave labor as a worker outside the prison system. So all these companies are hiring prisoners versus you know, they're paying them 50 cents an hour and you don't got no job.
There was a study released just this week about the effect of prison labor on Montgomery area automotive wages. And the study suggested that prison labor is suppressing wages. So Hyundai and other major manufacturers, well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read an article and summarize it in my own words.
Oh, you're good, dog. Hey, and shout out to the folks that went out to LA. One of our members, one of the guys from Valley Labor Report, Adam Keller, hand delivered a letter to the Hyundai president or something about the child labor abuses in the state and whatnot. And he was there with a coterie of folks from Alabama, another organization across Alabama was out there. So I think they're down in daggum. I wish my brain worked better, y'all. But they're down south of us, down south of Montgomery. Got to go to an event several years ago there, and yeah, so there's folks fighting, you know, join the fray.
So long story short, the study correlates a 10% increase in the proportion of incarcerated workers at a plant with a 10 to 14% drop in wages for free workers.
Yeah. That's the difference between making your mortgage payment and not. If you lucky enough to have a mortgage, right?
Right.
Rent and whatnot. Cap and rent. All these things are possible. But you got to have grit. You got to be consistent. You got to think long term. You got to plan ahead, and work in your community and build your community up, and across the state. There's a big meeting with labor organizers a couple weeks ago, and I think a lot of good things are going to come out of that too. So the folks are getting together. Working class is getting together. Working class is waking up from a long slumber. So just don't quit, y'all. Don't quit. Yeah. What else? What else we got going?
That's really all I had was just the stuff about Doug Jones and his doomed election for governor, which is not going to build any working class power or any support for working class policies. I mean, maybe I'm willing to eat crow if he comes out with a great platform, and I'm willing to point out the points of his platform I think that are good. He was very good on the abortion issue as a senator, but that was about the only issue he was very good on.
Yeah.
The rest of it was just milquetoast centrism, and I don't think that's going to inspire enough people to change their vote from Tuberville.
Yep. I tend to agree. But it's well, it won't be a snooze fest. And let's see if he's learned any lessons. But yeah, let's see what that platform says. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what he comes when he gets his website out.
Yeah. With that, a couple other things that happened out here down in Mobile. The local PD and the sheriffs abducted a man out of a waiting room of a car dealership mechanic shop on behalf of ICE and DHS. And during the kidnapping, he's injected with some unknown sedative. If you can see right here, that guy right there.
Unbelievable.
So just straight up like Nazi shit, dude.
Wow, that's incredible.
Oh, there you go. Just walking off. Doobly doo.
I wonder if he's some sort of medical worker that he's able to give injections to people. Looks like he is because he's pulling that gurney.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable. Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much.
Yeah. They got him. What else? The
Oh yeah, the body cam footage of the Fairhope protester who was dressed in a penis costume.
This is she's definitely witty. This is 13 minutes. Not really. Let's see. Don't have sound coming.
Serious heart attack. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. If my kids had to come by and see this, how would you explain it to them? Are you recording? I am recording. I'm recording right here. I am telling you right now, if my kids had to come by and see this, I would like to hear how you would explain to my children what you're supposed to be.
What a pun is?
I want you. Let me get another unit over here. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me why. Wrong. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Turn over. On your belly. On your belly. On your belly. I told her to take it off. Give me your arm. Give me your arm. Give me your arm.
So you can imagine where it goes from there.
Yeah.
That dude's a goober. Doesn't know what the Constitution is, doesn't know what free speech is. Apparently is incapable of talking about basic anatomy to children, or just, doing like what a lot of parents do when something that maybe they ain't ready to talk about, just don't worry about it right now. Can't explain, I guess, what a dick is on a dog. I wonder if his kid, if they got a dog at the house, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
His values are irrelevant, and he's a fucking Nazi. So yeah. And then this one's a little weird to me. Madison Police launches a pilot program for daily check-in phone calls. It's launching the Confirm OK daily check-in program. You basically, when you sign up, the cops can come to your house if you don't answer the phone, and go in.
Why would anybody sign up for this?
I think it's I'm thinking it's to the like older folks that probably need some I don't want to say attention, but that's what it feels like, right? But
The last people I'd want are cops. What are cops going to do if I'm
Yeah.
having a medical? If I'm not responsive, it's because I'm having a medical crisis. And what are cops going to do in that circumstance? I mean, I'm schizophrenic, and if I get off my medication for a few days, like my brain just kind of goes sideways, and I'm terrified of what that would mean if there were police officers having to deal with me in that state.
yeah. Let's see here.
Madison Police Department is launching a new pilot program that they hope will save lives. News 19's Emily Mosner has details.
He had a stroke on Friday night, tried crawling to his bedroom, to get his phone, couldn't get there, and he laid on the floor until Monday morning when his workmates said, "This isn't like him, he doesn't show up."
Officer Shane Kiker says that in his 12 years with Madison Police, calls like this have been all too common. Thankfully, in this case, police were able to do a wellness check before it was too late.
They said had we have not got there, well, probably by the end of the night, he probably would have passed away.
That's just one of the reasons why Officer Kiker pushed for the implementation of the Confirm OK daily check-in program. He says it's ideal for elderly people that live alone, people with disabilities, injuries, or medical conditions. How it works is simple. When you sign up, you say what time you want to get your daily phone call. When Confirm OK calls, all you have to do is hit 1 in the pound sign to confirm that you're safe. Now, if you miss a call, it will try again 2 more times. If those calls aren't answered, then police and EMS will immediately be dispatched. Hiker says signing up gives police permission to enter your home to check in.
Police officers, we can't just go into anybody's home. We have to have a reason to go in there. And there have been too many calls where if we can't see in a window, or we see in the window and we don't see anything that looks out of place, we just leave.
So far, 5 people have signed up for the pilot program. MPD received the funding for the year-long pilot program from Axis Premier Properties, a local real estate company. Kiker says he hopes MPD can secure funding from the city to keep it going and free to users for years to come.
Families that I've talked to that have said, what is the cost if I had to pay for my parents? It's about $7 a month. And everybody says, I'll pay that up front to know my parents are being checked in on, our family members too.
In Madison, Emily Mosner, News 19.
Yeah, I'm still sus on this.
Yeah, I don't get. It's the last thing I would want. I think about when I was caring for my grandfather, and when he might have been in the state where he might have needed something like that, like I wouldn't have wanted the cops showing up on him. Like,
Yeah.
it's part of the reason I moved in with him, so there was to be somebody around if he got into a bad state, because he was prone to falls in the end. But
Yeah,
yeah,
this is something that a family should be able to do, but they can't because of the material conditions, or a community should be able to do. You know, if we were connected better and stuff like this is, uh, you know, I'm not a fan, but
yeah. I mean, EMS. If it were EMS, that would be one thing, but I don't know why the cops have to come.
yeah. And then there's all kinds of things like, I don't know, like you're asleep and you don't wake up to any of the phone calls. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, it's something that is being put in the hands of police when it shouldn't. That's a core problem for me. But yeah. So I think that's about it, folks. Anything else? Yeah. That's about it. We're coming up on a year next Sunday, as a matter of fact. It'll be
Wow.
1 year solid. And we're going to be trying to raise our game and optimize and be like, try to figure out why the videos don't come up on the YouTube page and you got to click over to the live tab, or making shorts, or I don't know, streaming to some other platforms. Maybe we can get some money from the chapter to pay for the fancy StreamYard service.
How much does it cost?
You know what? I do not even know. But the but if you pay, I know if you pay, you can do like multi streams, and so theoretically we could be streaming to Facebook, Twitch, all like several platforms at once. Instagram, I think you can stream on Instagram now. So yeah, it's like, it's nice software, especially for being web based. You can do a whole lot of fancy tricks and stuff like that. But maybe it's 20, 25 a month, something like that. So maybe I create a resolution, but we'll see. We're also going to be trying to do kind of daily shows, right? Why don't you expand on that? Well, what's your vision for this, Red Mike?
So I was thinking that we would do more frequent but shorter shows about one topic. Like we pick a news article each day, maybe 5 days a week instead, and maybe we could still do a news roundup on Sunday. But I was thinking, like, instead of going for a couple of hours, go for like 10 to 20 minutes and talk about like a single news item or a single philosophical point.
Hey,
And like I would want, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I'm with that.
And I would also like to get to where I'm, instead of reacting to the news, doing a little bit more proactive rather. I'll get my words straight in a minute. Proactive support for what socialism would mean in an Alabama context, like, because we're going to have to build power at the state, at the local level, starting with the city level first, and thinking about what socialist city policies would look like. And I think that's going to be in a step that we're going to have to take before we're allowed to get power anywhere near at the state level, or Now, some of that is going to be limited by the lack of home rule in Alabama. But on the other hand, if you've got a lot of people clamoring for a certain policy and that gets preempted by the state power, that heightens the contradictions, right?
Right.
So, and builds support for an alternative constitution in Alabama, which is something we desperately need. So I kind of want to do like I want to start doing shorter, but like long story short, I want to do more frequent but shorter shows about single issues. But that's I mean, it's up to you, and maybe if we can get some feedback from our listeners about what they want to see. But like, well, I noticed that the average length of the YouTube videos that I tend to watch tends not to exceed 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is some valid criticism for the algorithm and stuff. Unfortunately, but hey, we made it a year. We learned a lot. Like, what? I'm not gonna spoil our birthday yet.
Oh yeah, no, of course not.
But year 2, we're gonna change some things up. We're gonna actually try to get this on actual podcast platform. That's another thing, is like all the ones I've seen is like you got to pay for. So we're gonna try to step up our game. Maybe we do some edited stuff. Maybe we do documentaries on all these socialists that have been forgotten from our history. Yeah, who knows? But we're gonna be changing things up and doing some more things. Yeah, I'm excited. Dude. Fucking year, dude. Like,
It's been a year.
what are we doing for next week? Are we gonna do some special show? What are we doing? We just gonna not even do the news and just talk? I don't even know.
We'll have time to think about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out this week. But folks, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for spending your time with us. It's precious, and it's a gift that you're giving us. Check out the link in the description. One of the candidates, working class candidates, for Robert Hunter is running for office. He needs your support. Send some dollars his way, but it'd be even better if you can, House District 28 out around Gadsden. Be even better if you can hit the streets with them as well. And we should have some more. We got Amanda Pushchick. You can find her site out there. You can find her on Facebook. She's running for Congressional District 4. And we got some other folks that will be officially announcing and whatnot here soon. And yeah. What you reading right now, dog?
I'm reading Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, which is about how to persuade people.
Okay. All right. How's it going?
Pretty good so far.
All right. Yeah. Definitely. There's tried and true techniques. Our monkey brains certainly operate in a lot of similar ways. Getting a yes out of somebody and then escalating the yes, so yeah, work on them techniques so we can get the people understanding what we're putting down. I've got an hour left on Ministry for the Future, and I've been on a whole lot of listening to a whole lot of military podcasts, military history, World War I history, World War II history, and leadership and things like that. I get it from my daddy, But yeah, folks, thank y'all so much. Rev Mike, thank you, dog, for always being there. And as we like to say around here, all the power to all the people. We the people break our chains together. Solidarity forever, folks.
Solidarity forever.